So yeah, kind of like that. Alright, jumping into the second game between these two guys on Yeonsu. A pretty decent ZVZ map again. It's a two-player map. It's riddled with chokes and high ground and low ground elevations, depressions, and alternations. Excuse me. We have Armani, the blue Zerg, spawning in the top right location, and his opponent is going to be Solar, the red Zerg player, in the bottom left. Solar up one game. And as we said before, the guy is 17 years old, already having made its debut in Pro League and OGN, and
he's just so good, man. Like, he played against he played in the Ace match just the other day for Samsung Galaxy. I'm not going to say here in case people are like me and are very lazy and forget to watch. I watched that series, but I didn't watch the series off of Sunday yet. So, but still, I mean, he's such a good player. He's a player who can be trusted to be sent out in Ace matches, and I mean, he sometimes does well, and he takes down the best players in the world, like when he took down SOS twice in the day. He got knocked out of GSL, but you know, GSL is a tough place to live.
Oh yeah.
So there's no shame in that. I mean, the players he lost to, was it not? There's like two of the better players in the GSL as well. Like, it wasn't just some random guys. I think it was Squirtle and whoever else was in Squirtle's group.
Basically
Rain?
one of the regulars.
No, sorry, it was Hero and Rain. So I mean, that's actually even worse. And
that's a good point, because Squirtle has not been the top performer as of late as far as GSL goes. So
yeah, no doubt. He knocked down DRG as well. So I mean that's how good this guy is here. So yeah, wow. So,
okay, again, gasless opening from Solar. He seems to like gasless openings quite a lot, whereas Armani, well, he's going for a hatch into a pool. So he's not being as greedy as we saw him be in the previous game, getting a gas afterwards.
I wonder if neither player's gonna go gassy. I mean, it's not like they can't take a gas for speed now.
I mean, at this point, it's almost safe to say that neither of them are going to be taking a gas, because if Armani wanted to or needed to, he would already have done so.
Yeah, this map's really good for just gasless roach play as well, because again, it's a map where you can wall off the natural very easily. And it's a very short rush distance, you know, very easy to push across the map with a couple of with some roaches. When your timing is there, when you have the upgrades kicking in, when you have roach speed kicking in, so it can pack quite the punch. But they'll be playing the same style here.
Now there is also one other possibility to consider. Muta play is quite strong, or can be quite strong on this map if you go for Muta builds. Just due to the fact that if you want to catch those mutas, if they're abusing the ledges and the cliffs and using those as access and escape routes, you're going to have decently difficult time trying to catch them with your ground army. And since Hydras come so late into the game, you'll be relying on static defenses. You know, this can be a thing. This could get you quite a nice advantage for some time at least. I'm not talking like, you know, pure mass muta, because obviously that rarely works these days in ZVZ, but just, you know, getting a couple of mutas, 6-8 mutas, that can be a thing. And also infestors might come into play here on this map, as, you know, the chokes are a little bit narrower compared to the previous map, so fungal growth can become quite important in those roach hydra fights.
Yeah, if we get that far, I mean, we see so many ZVZs just end up having to stall on the on just roaches, because it's kind of that close. You know, if you take the time to invest into hydras, to invest into infestors, and you're even with your opponent, if they just attack you in that time, you can die so easily. That being said, because of this map, because of the way it's set with so many chokes, it's much easier to do that transition and go for it, because of the defender's advantage you gain from all the choke points your opponent has to fight up into, even for third base, you know. So that's something you've got to keep in mind. Let's start up at the same time here. Gases are down for both players. No Evo Chambers yet. There's a Roach Warrant for Solar. And there's his
Evo Chamber, so he's they're practically doing the same or almost the same build here. And yeah,
for a moment I thought they might rush into mutas, both of them, kind of weirdly. But it would have been really weird to go into mutas off of gasless, but no, it's okay. Just a single evolution chamber for Solo though, against the double evolution chamber of Armani, and I mean,
And
basically, this is better for Armani.
it is in the long run, but at the same time, look at Solar's balls. I mean, not literally, but he's taking a third
Good
base.
Yeah, you can
It's,
try and start getting that down.
That's a pretty courageous play coming out of Solar here, because all things
no
considered,
vision.
yeah, he's got no vision. There are rocks here, and his opponent going for roaches as well, which he has to suspect, because this is a very good map for the roaches. So taking that third base prior to building any units whatsoever, that's a pretty good gamble here by Solar. But Armani, instead of trying to punish that, he's going to react by getting a third of his own. It's approximately 1 minute behind his opponent, so that's a decent delay, but it's better than not taking the third, trying to attack and then not being successful with that, and you'll end up being behind needlessly. So as both players' upgrades are about to finish, and they will try to saturate those third bases, we can expect first clashes to happen in a couple of minutes.
The problem is, I mean, basically, whenever one player attacks into the other, though, they're going to be down on roaches, and they can't stay for too long because the reinforcements will start coming in for their opponents. So, this is the kind of thing with ZVZ where we're going to have to wait to see which player is going to start, getting a few run-bys with roaches off, and, start being a little bit more aggressive in that way. And, I mean, just straight away here, Solar, he can't fight this. He's got roach speed, so he can retreat nice and easily. And he's going to start clearing up this creep, which, most importantly, denies a lot of vision for Armani. But in general, he can't really fight in, and now Armani's 1-1 finishes, and his speed's about to finish too, so still has to be really careful not to overcommit at all here. And as well, the queens for Armani, adding in a couple of transfuses, are always going to just make fights go in his favor. Like, all these little things just add up.
And Armani immediately queuing up Burrow, and going +2 on both fronts. His opponent is going to be only one upgrade behind due to opening up with a single evolution chamber as opposed to double evos from Armani, which it's as we said before, it's a really advantageous play in the long term, but it can be susceptible to early pushes, aggressive pushes by your opponent, as you invest a lot into those upgrades, and you necessarily would not have the roach numbers to defend your third base, for example.
Solar has so much army supply.
Yeah.
He's got 42 roaches to 27, and I just don't even know how.
Oh,
like,
he needs...
These guys opened the same, right? More or less.
Yeah, but we had a supply block here for Armani. So, I mean, I
guess
just
he's
saw...
investing 2-2 as well, and tunneling close. I guess it's not as that far apart, really.
Yeah.
Burrow's about to kick in on either side. Don't think that'll change too much. Both players have overseers around, so shouldn't make too much of a difference. Armani needs to survive here, though, because it's a big attack from Solar, and again, defender's advantage. He should be okay here. And again, we're going to have this little bit of a stalemate until one player decides, right, let's try the tech switch. And I don't think that's going to happen until at least +2 starts to kick in. Again, Armani can't really fight without a few more roaches.
No, he can't. And the tunneling claws are going to be finishing, but will not do much good unless those queens can get a snipe on that overseer of Solars. If they can manage to do that, then the burrow play becomes a huge deal for Armani.
Pushing into the main with a few roaches here, and this is the exact kind of thing we need to see, because now he takes down a queen, a couple of roaches into the third base too, and this is how we see differences starting to open up, because now so Armani is losing some drones, he's going to lose them injects.
He's going to be out of position a little bit with this army, and Solar should take this fight very convincingly.
I don't know, 2-2's about to finish up here for Armani. If he can just survive a little while longer, it's going to be close. Maybe Solar can gain too much of an advantage in that time, though, because a lot of roaches are going down here, but reinforcements coming in, Belgar, and there's the 2-2, and this is going to be the turnaround point. Solar's 2-2, another 10 seconds away, so is this enough for Armani? It may be, because a few more roaches are still coming in for him, and Solar has nothing left.
Such a close fight right there. I mean, but in the meantime, still that harassment of those roaches in the main base, and 5 drones have been killed off, and Solar is trying to go and target some more as he burrows those roaches and tries to...
This was the main difference here. That run by of roaches did so much here initially. Oh, Armani's underneath Solar, and he's gone overseer. I don't know what he was trying to achieve there at all, and Well, now Solo just has the better position. He has control of this low ground, which means Armani has to fight down choke points, and that's never good. And I mean, Solo just
It's just so difficult
mechanically the better player.
It's just so difficult to control your army when you're moving down two separate ramps that are so apart from one another. I mean, they barely fit on one screen when you're playing.
Yeah.
Oh, but this could be the fight that Armani was looking for. He's got a better concave. A lot of those roaches have been targeting down the hatcheries before they engage the blue roaches here of Armani. And he is at the same time preventing reinforcements from joining this fight because of how positioned his army is.
The thing is, it's going to be a fairly even fight, which isn't great for Armani because he doesn't really have a bank to remake. He's actually losing more and more workers from roaches in the main base. And Solar has a fourth base on the way. So although that fight in the end was even, Solar's killed 21 workers. Like, he's had roaches in the third, he's still popping up with these, he's still doing whatever he can. Like, this game just gets more and more out of hand here, and Armani
this
just
is
slowly dropping out of this.
This is one of the things that some Zerg players really underestimate. I'm not talking about professional players, but players on the ladder. When you're going roach versus roach, these harassments, these run-bys into the mineral lines by taking like 4 roaches out of the main army and just try to send them around at the same time while you're fighting the rest of the army of your opponent. You are tying his units to your army so that you can get the damage down. The main fight is not important. What's important is getting those drones down. If you don't mess up your micro, you will end up having a slight advantage, and that can compound geometrically later on. But we have another fight here. And
I mean, Solo doesn't matter. He can just back off now and then come again in a few moments because he's killed the Roach Roaring Belron. You know what you can't build without a Roach Roaring?
Roaches?
you know your StarCraft knowledge. That caster knowledge
bombs.
Doesn't even matter. I think Solo's just going to win this anyway. And, well, he does actually back off here in the end. But, I mean, Roach Roaring's still in the way. He's having to make slow lings. And Armani just taps on out because of that. And Solar is our first player through to the round of 8.
So